Hi Frater, just to tell you that I would love to see your video on Jupiter, the only planet remaining. Well, let's go ahead and do that right now, shall we? Let's get into it. The Roman god Jupiter is the equivalent of the Greek god Zeus, god of thunder, king of the gods. And in astrology, Jupiter is the benevolent king. He is known as the greater benefic, as most aspects to him are going to be beneficial. Jupiter is all about expansion and growth. So whatever Jupiter comes into contact with, he's going to expand that. So whereas Saturn is restrictive, Jupiter is expansive. And so those two planets are polar opposites in that regard. Jupiter is the planet of faith and optimism. Faith in a religion or a belief, an ideology. And you can see this in the signs that it rules over, which are Sagittarius and Pisces. Pisces also being co-ruled with Neptune. Sagittarius is all about seeking the truth, higher learning along with religion. And the motto for Pisces is, I believe. Jupiter is very optimistic, looking on the bright side of things. Jupiter is very jovial. In fact, the word jovial is derived from Jupiter. Jove is another name for Jupiter. Jovial is friendly, cheerful, jolly. And you can see this aspect of Jupiter this time of year in Santa Claus, a big old jolly fat guy bestowing gifts upon everyone. I would add that on top of being jovial, that Jupiter is the best storyteller. We all know that one guy at the party that everybody likes, that always has the best stories and can make everybody laugh. And what you're witnessing there is a really good placement of his Jupiter in action. However, the thing to keep in mind is that due to the expansive nature of Jupiter, those kind of stories are prone to exaggeration, embellishment, and are added on to. It's not that they didn't happen, it's just that Jupiter likes to make it bigger than it actually was. Jupiter is also a planet of protection. Wherever Jupiter falls in your chart, you're going to have some inherent protection, a natural protection in that area, because Jupiter is the big guy that's going to take the hits for you. Whereas Mars is the sword, Jupiter is the shield. And so Jupiter is an excellent protector. And those are the main aspects of Jupiter in astrology. It's quite easy to see how Jupiter is so well liked and considered the greater benefic. But, as with all planets, there is also a dark side, even in an optimistic planet such as Jupiter. Because Jupiter is all about expansion and more, left unchecked, Jupiter can lead to excess. To Jupiter, too much of a good thing doesn't apply. However, we know that anything in excess is going to lead to an imbalance. And this is where the polarity of Jupiter and Saturn play out, where Saturn creates the boundaries and restricts Jupiter from taking things too far. And this is the reason why Saturn is a higher planet than Jupiter. It has to be in order to keep Jupiter's tendency for excess under control. Another negative side of Jupiter is in faith, blind faith. Taken to extremes is where you get your fanaticism, religious fanaticism, political fanaticism, any faith in an ideology taken to extremes. Again, you're seeing that the negative side of Jupiter is in its tendency to have more of something, to expand upon something, and not realizing the boundary. You see this in the disease of cancer, where cells start rapidly dividing and multiplying in uncontrolled growth. Cancer is a Jupiterian disease. It doesn't recognize the limits and boundaries set for it and doesn't stop. Even the jolly, cheerful guy with all the stories can have a dark side to it, as he can come across as boastful and bragging if Jupiter is poorly aspected. So yeah, as long as you keep Jupiter in check and recognize the boundaries, Jupiter will easily be your best friend in your chart. When doing planetary magic, if you want more of something, Jupiter is the planet to work with. Keep in mind, though, that Jupiter's job is to expand, so there must be something there for it to expand upon. If I needed more money and was flat broke, I would probably turn to Venus instead. But if I already have money and I need more money, then Jupiter would be the planet to work with. And you can see the effects of Jupiter in the chart on the body, physically. If you have Jupiter in Aries, you may have a big head. In Gemini, may give you large hands. Sagittarius, you may have large eyes or thighs. The women I know with Jupiter in Cancer are large-breasted, whereas women with Saturn in Cancer will typically be small-breasted. I myself happen to be blessed with Jupiter in Scorpio. So, not to brag or anything, but if I was, it would only be another example of Jupiter. Let's just say that Jupiter is a very benevolent king indeed, and leave it at that. Jupiter likes to bestow his gifts as it is the planet of charity, in association with its co-ruled sign of Pisces. So, I hope we all learned something today, as Jupiter is the planet of teaching and higher learning as well. So, with our knowledge having been expanded, I will end this here, and we'll see you next time. Take care.